Today's notes are on writing equations from graphs. This is the equation for a parabola that we have been studying. Remember, A stands for whether or not the parabola opens up or down. Okay, when A is positive, it opens up. When A is negative, it opens down. Also, if A is a number that's not 1, like let's say 3, that means when you start the parabola, when you go over 1 unit, you'd go up 3. Okay, as opposed to when A is 1, when we go over 1, up 1 to start the parabola. So you can kind of think of A as kind of like the slope of the parabola, telling us, in this case, when we go over 1, we're going to go up 3 for that first point. When A is 1, we just go over 1, up 1. So it's kind of similar to the slope. Remember the number that we add to the outside, or the last number we add to the parabola equation? That moves the parabola up or down. So if we had a situation where it was, let's say, x squared plus 3, that means that the parabola gets moved up 3 units. And if it was minus 4, then the parabola would move down 4 units. The h part of the equation moves the parabola left and right. And remember, the stuff in parentheses, it always has the opposite effect on the parabola. So if we had this equation, x minus 3 squared, the effect of the minus 3 is that it moves the parabola 3 to the right. Okay? And if it was x plus 3, it would move the parabola 3 to the left. Now that's different from the effect of the k in the equation. Remember, the number that's at the end moves the parabola in the direction of the sign. So if it's plus 3 in the equation, it moves the parabola up 3. So today's assignment is going to be writing this equation from the graph of a parabola. So if I give you the graph, could you come up with the equation? So here's some examples. These are on your note sheet. This one, if you notice, it starts right in the middle, then it goes up 1 over 1 to the first point. That is just the normal parabola, y equals x squared. The very first one we learned. Example number 2, you'll notice the whole parabola is moved up 3 units. So the equation for this one is x squared plus 3. Remember, if I want to move the parabola up or down, I just add a number to the end, or subtract a number. Third example, you notice the parabola starts in the middle, but when I go over 1, it goes up 3 units. So that equation would be 3x squared. Nothing is added or subtracted out here because the parabola stayed right in the middle. You notice on number 4, the parabola has slid 4 units to the left. Now remember, for right and left movement, this is going to happen in parentheses, and it's always the opposite. So if they want me to move it 4 to the left, I actually add 4 in parentheses. So that's something you have to remember. On number 5, you'll notice the parabola's moved 2 to the right. And the way I move things left and right is I put it in parentheses, and it's always the opposite. So 2 to the right would mean x minus 2. You'll notice on 6, there's 2 things happening. I move the parabola 3 to the right, and when I go over 1, I go up 2 units. So I have to put a 2 in front for that over 1, up 2. And then I slid it 2 to the right, or I'm sorry, 3 to the right, but remember, you always do the opposite. So this 2 is because it goes over 1, up 2. This negative 3 is because it was moved 3 to the right. Now, example 7 moves 3 to the right and 2 up. And then when I go over 1, it only goes up 1. So, first thing I do is move it to the right 3, which actually is x minus 3. And then 2 up so I do plus 2 in the end. So left and right movement, that comes from what happens in the parentheses, and then up and down movement comes from the number on the outside. So if you look at number 8, this one's moved 4 to the left, 2 down. So 4 to the left is actually x plus 4, and 2 down is minus 2. So 4 left is x plus 4, and 2 down is minus 2. Number 9 has a little bit of everything happening. First of all, I'm moving the parabola 3 to the right and 4 up. Okay, so 3 to the right is x minus 3 squared. 4 up is plus 4. Now, you may notice it is upside down, which means that would be a negative sign out front. And when I go over 1, I went down 2, so it's a negative 2. So remember, the number out front determines if it's going upside down or right side up. If it's negative, it's going to open down. Because it goes 2 units, goes over 1 unit and then down 2, I put the 2 in. It's 3 to the right, so I do x minus 3, it's always opposite, and I move the vertex 4 up, so that's at plus 4. So your job will be to write equations from the parabola graph that's given to you. When you type the answers into Moodle, just remember this. If this is your equation that you want to type in, you're actually going to type y equals x minus 4, and then you have to use that caret thing, because that's how you make a power. And then you do plus 3. Moodle will understand that that's what you mean. So anytime there's a squared, you have to use that caret key.